We're back. Yeah, what's going on, buddy? How you doing over there?
I'm doing good.
Yeah. Word.
Another day.
Hell yeah. Fucking working and, bullshitting.
Yeah.
What I do best, pretty much. Bullshitting my way through life, one bullshit at a time. I just want to, start off by saying we've noticed we've had a few new listeners.
Yeah.
On the podcast and on the YouTube side, and just wanted to say, hell yeah, welcome to the Wicked Paranormal team.
Much obliged.
Let's start a mosh pit, dog. Let's all get together and start a mosh pit.
Yeah. We're just starting out, trying to get a good crowd going here.
Yeah.
So.
Hell yeah. Trying to get everything nice and smooth for you and me. We got dying lights. Hey, when you mess with spooky stuff, sometimes the fucking lights go out.
It happens, man. That one, well, I haven't charged that one, so that one's probably dead.
You didn't charge it?
Well, the battery pack should be charging it, but I don't know why it's decided to go tits up on
Technology.
That one should be alright, though.
Yeah. Yeah, also, if you're just listening to this and not watching it, you ain't missing a whole lot, but you definitely could be helping a brother out.
Well, if you're listening to it, that's one thing, but yeah, like, if you're not watching it, of course, we're on YouTube for all the listeners on, all the major platforms. I guess the major ones like iHeartRadio, iTunes,
Spotify, Prime, Podcasts.
Yeah.
All of them.
Our video one is on YouTube here, so if you want to actually see us, and it's a little more interactive because I put like pictures and stuff of what we're talking about and incorporate that as well, so you actually see. But yeah, it's we're just not, like I say, we're just not audio no more. We're audio and video, so
hell yeah.
Check us out on the YouTube. You
can see my ridiculous outfit, my Billy Strang shirt, and my Tennessee Titans socks. It is football season, so go Titans, go Vols, fuck everybody else.
I'm surprised you didn't wear your suspenders today.
No, not today. Not yet. Saturday, I'll be wearing them because Tennessee will be playing Georgia, and kickoff is the exact same time as my daughter's birthday party. So while my daughter's birthday party is going on, I will still be attentive to her, but I will have one headphone in my ear listening to that game.
Right.
I'm not fucking around, dude. This is the Vols. Nikki's only request was that I wear a shirt underneath because I do not plan on. I either will wear a jersey or I won't wear anything. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's on like Donkey Kong. Everybody's getting fucked up this year. Everybody. All right. So what is this? 6 and 3 and carry the one that makes 9.
The second episode.
Second episode. 22nd episode. Double deuce. Derrick Henry.
Yeah, double deuce.
Double deuce. Hell yeah.
Well, technically, season 2, episode 2.
Yeah, well, that is also a double deuce, so it's double shitty. And it's also the name of the bar from Roadhouse. The Double Deuce.
The Double Deuce.
Deuce. The word's so nice they had to name it twice.
I brought some interesting stuff today.
What did you bring, Sean?
Well, I've been, kind of digging into not really conspiracy theories per se, but it is considered a conspiracy theory. Well, there's a couple of them tied in together here.
Crazy.
Some people think it's totally false. Some people think it's basically, it might be the government trying to cover itself up. You know what I mean? Kind of like
not unheard of.
Yeah, not unheard of. Trying to lead the public's eye somewhere else while they secretly do some other shit behind, which has been done before. But it's really all up to. I'm going to leave it up to the listener or the viewer and see what your thoughts. If you want, leave a comment. We really need more comments. That way we know, and it helps also feed the algorithm. But we also would like to know what our viewers think.
Yes.
When we discuss things like this.
Comment, share.
Yeah. Let us know your thoughts.
That's awful, Aaron. I just got your text.
Anywho, tonight though we're gonna go down this long walk.
Not the movie.
Not the real book. Yeah, not a real deep dive, but into modern UFO lore. Kind of change it up a little bit from paranormal because we.
I don't know if I would necessarily consider it modern.
Well, you'll see what I'm talking about.
Copy.
our channel is basically, for the new viewers out there, our channel is basically viewed around cryptids, paranormal, UFO, weird shit.
Well, the main wicked paranormal stuff is the dead time stories stuff.
Yeah.
Sean brings a lot of cryptid and UFO stuff, and a lot of the time I bring just whatever bullshit somebody wants me to research or something that I find interesting.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's related to that. Sometimes, like our last episode was on LSD.
Yeah.
And Albert Hoffman, and that has nothing to do with the paranormal. It just has to do with your brain.
Stuff that we find interesting.
Yeah,
What I'm going to bring to you originally started in 1947. And it happened in September, which was like 2 months after the Roswell incident, okay? The government supposedly come up with this group called MJ12. You may have heard of it, or if not, we're going to kind of do a little deep dive into it.
12 was Michael Jordan's number when he was in elementary school. MJ12. I made that up. I completely made that up. Sorry. Please continue.
Anyway, the MJ12 are also known as the Majestic 12. Was pretty much the first 12 men in black. Pretty much what it boils down to.
All white dudes. I can almost guarantee it.
Now, apparently the tale begins not in 1947, but in the mid-1980s, okay? In December of 1984, Los Angeles TV writer, producer Jamie, was it Chandria? Or Chandria?
Spell it for us.
It's Shandera. He received an anonymous brown paper package slipped under his mail slot. Inside was an undeveloped roll of 35mm film, and when the film was developed, it contained photocopies of documents dated to the late 1940s that appeared to be briefing papers describing Operation Majestic 12. These documents claimed to be top-secret directive materials created to brief the incoming Eisenhower administration about a small, closed committee formed by President Harry S. Truman to deal with the recovered extraterrestrial technology after the alleged Roswell crash of July 1947.
Okay, so a random dude.
A random TV guy of all...
News guy. Got these. So what it looked like was it's supposed to be a briefing for the president.
Yeah, it's basically these documents. Of course, I'll put them up on the screen here and you see what I'm talking about. It came in this brown, this package, and this dude's like, what the fuck is this? Opens it up, it's 35mm film, and he's like, all right. So he processes it, and it turns out to be all these documents, allegedly trying to cover up the Roswell. You know what I mean? Shortly after, because like I said, Roswell happened in July. 2 months later, September, this Majestic 12 came about.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy. There was a few key papers that showed up in slightly different versions across the early leaks. Now, Truman's Secretary of Defense, James Forrestal, dated September 24th, 1947, the so-called Truman-Forrestal Memo, an Eisenhower briefing document, sometimes called the Eisenhower Briefing Document, or EBD, in internal memos that named the roster of the 12 high-ranking military intelligence and scientific figures. The effect was cinematic, a secret cabal created within days or weeks of Roswell, designed to hide wreckages, bodies, and research. The documents described in chilling bureaucratic language that the recovery of craft and even described human-like bodies recovered, and then outlined duties for the committee that would steer the whole cover-up.
Bro, what if it ended up being like... what if Roswell... Sorry, this just popped into my head, and I apologize for interrupting.
Oh, no, you guys.
What if Roswell was actually like a Planet of the Apes situation, where it was astronauts from our future still who went into like a black hole, and they ended up in fucking Roswell, and now they're the aliens?
That would be kind of crazy.
But they're little and gray because it's so far in our future, because eventually we're all going to be the same color.
Yeah.
That's just kind of how it works.
Yeah.
One way or the other. So what if it was just little fucking gray humans from 2,000 years in the future who went into a wormhole and traveled time?
Now, there's apparently a roster. Of course, I'll put a picture up here.
Of the people?
Of the 12 people.
The 12? There's only 11 names. One has been redacted.
These are not marked, or these are not wrote in stone. Like, these are not carved in stone. These are just names that they believe are the Majestic 12 because they correlate with the documents. But they don't believe the documents are real. They think that there's a cover-up from the government itself. You know what I mean? Trying to, like, mislead the public.
Whatever silverware you silverwaring in there, unsilverware it.
The 12, according to the roster here, is Roscoe H. Hellenkotter, or Hellenkotter. He's a Navy admiral and later the first director of Central Intelligence, the CIA. Got Dr. Vanneer Bush. He's an engineer and science administrator who ran wartime research efforts. Of course, James Forrestal, the first U.S. Secretary of Defense.
Yep.
Who was also, little fun tip, also in charge of not only this, but a little something called the Manhattan Project.
That one might ring a bell. Are you talking about the one that was in Oak Ridge, Tennessee?
Yeah.
Is that the one?
He was also an overseer of that.
Oh.
So apparently he had his hands in a lot of pockets.
Yeah, and a lot of pies, because you know he was smashing bitches at every base.
He also had General Nathan F. Twining. Influential U.S. Air Force general. General Vandenberg, an Air Force Chief of Staff. Dr. Dietlev Bronk, he's a medical and academic scientist. Dr. Hunsaker, aeronautical engineer, was an NACA, or basically pre-NASA designer.
Okay, so you know that all of the NASA was pretty much started by, you know what Operation Paperclip is, right?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah, so I mean that guy was probably actually a Nazi.
Yeah. You also had Sowers, early intelligence figure. First director of the Central Intelligence Group, or CIA. Gordon Gray, national security official, and later chairman of various boards. You had Dr. Menzel.
Surfboards, or like boogie boards, or like skateboards?
Like boards, like secretary.
I know, dog. I was just fucking with you. Sorry.
You had Dr. Menzel. He's an astronomer who often wrote the skepticality of the UFO reports. You had Robert M. Montage. He's a U.S. Army general.
Montague?
Yeah, Montague is what it is. Lloyd V. Berkner, a physicist and engineer. So apparently these 12 here represented the bipartisan, the scientific military leadership you'd want on a high-level hush-hush advisory body. These are like, basically generals, scientists, intelligence chiefs, the all-seeing eye. You know what I mean? Like, pretty much
Sauron.
The original... Yeah, like Sauron. You get the original...
the Dark Lord Sauron.
This is like the original 12 Men in Black. You know what I mean? Basically what this boils down to. This is what the catalyst that started it. Apparently. It was just these guys sitting in a circle, talking about how we going to hide this alien shit that we got.
I mean, when you have that many Dutch rudders going on, it's actually a paddle boat, okay? You got yourself a paddle boat at that point.
Surely not.
They're gambling on that motherfucker. 12-man Dutch rudder? Are you kidding me? That's a paddle boat.
Everyone's like, row.
No, dude, that's like one of those gambling ones, with the fucking big paddle on the back, like the fucking Andrew Jackson that's in Nashville.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's when you get that many going on in a Dutch rudder.
Now, once all these documents became public, multiple official channels and independent researchers looked into this, and by 1988, the FBI itself had taken the MJ papers seriously enough to record them in the Bureau's central repository. 2 FBI field officers have received copies of the memo titled Operation Majestic 12, but the FBI's investigation, informed by Air Force Office of Special Investigations, checked the integrity of the searches, led to a very blunt conclusion. The documents were not authentic. So these guys, like the feds came to them and was like, hey, what's going on here? Air Force is like, nope, these aren't real. These are false. You know what I mean? So they got the government basically lying to the government, or supposedly lying to the government. Some pretty crazy shit going on here.
I'm crazy. I've made that joke twice. Sorry.
Yeah, they basically said it's fabricated and declared the file completely bogus. The FBI's own outline vault contains the case file documentary in this investigations. They think it's authentic, although they've noticed that some parts of it look like they've been copy and pasted, like they like clipped out this piece and like taped it on this piece and like Xeroxed it off. Because there's like one of the I forget who it was, one of their signatures that they had on there. At the same time that he supposedly signed this document, he was like somewhere else doing something else over in France. So it's like, how could you be at two places at once? Kind of thing. Now, the National Archives in Truman and Eisenhower presidential libraries were also queried. The archives report that extensive searches among Air Force and Joint Chiefs record turned up no evidence that such a committee had ever been formed, and the presidential libraries found no authorization or records matching the MJ-12 documents.
Bro, I mean, come on. It's 2025 and we still can't get the Epstein files. What the fuck makes you think they can't hide shit in 1947?
Well, like I said, this is like real. The whole point of the Majestic 12 was to cover up any kind of alien, any kind of crash, any kind of bodies they discovered, any kind of technology that they're trying to like reverse engineer, all that stuff. And it was all because during that time we also had the Cold War going on. So
47 would have still been the Second World War.
No, I was getting ahead of myself. No, later on down the road here, once it gets into like the Kennedy, it gets really crazy. Because some people think that Kennedy might have been assassinated by the MJ-12.
Ooh.
Which is just a conspiracy theory, but I mean it makes sense though, if you look at it. Like,
yeah,
they think that.
You think that Kennedy was an alien?
No, not
because I've heard that theory, tinfoil hat style.
No, not that he was an alien.
Cooked up on tinfoil like a fucking bunch of meth.
The strongest arguments for fakery was when the signature and source errors. Analysts noted that some signatures were photocopies pasted from other documents, like I was saying, or that the Truman signature on the one memo matched a different Truman document rather than an original sign-in ink. It's alright. That's the wife letting the dog out because Doodles has to piss every time I do a recording. Anyways, back to where I was. In one prominent analysis, investigators traced the Truman handwriting to a different memo dated later, suggesting that the MJ-12 documents were assembled from a cut-and-paste sources. So they think that it was fabricated, like I said, to steer the public wrong into thinking something else, while meanwhile they're in the background doing some other secret shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You also had the lack of corroborating archival records like high-level memos and executive orders, even when secret, generally leave on an administrative trail like file numbers, registration logs, distribution lists, and cross-references. In extensive searches at the National Archives, the Air Force records, and the presidential libraries failed to find such,
Yeah.
any files.
You were saying that.
Yeah. So that's what makes a lot of people think that it could be just faked. Like the government's faking it to keep... It's like you got, of course, you got Big Brother. So it's like basically Big Brother is faking these documents. So it gives the government something to chew on while they're secretly doing what they really want to do.
Yeah.
Kind of keeping them busy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sleight of hand. Old Siegfried and Roy. Actually,
Yeah.
no, those were the Tiger Bros. I'm talking about Penn and Teller. That's it. Old sleight of hand.
Now, when it
fuckers.
comes to the JFK connection, now we move into the darker alleys of conspiracy. The idea that President John F. Kennedy was trying to pre-open the UFO ET question and was silenced because of it. Because he was really curious during his time as president. He was wanting to open up the can of worms on these ETs and UFOs. He's wanting to get to the bottom of it. He's like, what? Because, during that time was like the space race.
Yeah.
You had the Cold War, like I was talking about earlier. I kind of got ahead of myself. You got the Cold War going on. And there's even been talk of JFK was with Russia in the sense that he was like, hey, we should work together as far as space goes. That way we can put our brains together and accomplish one really awesome rocket to get out to space instead of us competing against each other. And Russia was kind of like, yeah, we made, that could be a good idea.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll, because there was talks about they were going to let him in on some secrets, Russian secrets, about space and stuff and about aliens that they had.
Yeah.
And the government caught wind of this. And then shortly after, ow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They were like, yo, dog, you can't do it. And he's like, no, fuck you, I'm doing it. And they're like, no, bro, you can't do it. You ain't doing it.
This is where the popular variant of the broader JFK was killed by a secret cabal storyline. The MJ-12 sits naturally in that kind of theory because it's framed as a secretive, powerful group. JFK, he demanded disclosure. Supporters say that Kennedy became increasingly interested in classified files, including those about UAPs. And he expressed frustration that secrecy hampered democratic oversight. They point to public lines. Kennedy spoke about secrecy to the, let's see here, sources who he said he wanted to shake up the national security bureaucracy. MJ-12 had motives to silence him. If MJ-12 truly controlled information about crashed craft and recovery technology, then an administration pressing for public disclosure or broader institutional transparency would be a threat to the committee's mandate. Because remember, they're trying to keep everything hush-hush.
Yeah.
And here they got the president talking about, like, oh, we're going to release these files, and blah, blah, and they're like, oh, hell no. So they're like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like that one, was it that movie, it's got the dude that played Borat.
Oh, yeah. God, I always think of him as Ali G.
Yeah, Ali G, too. Yeah, I forget that movie, but he's like that big, what is it? I forget. Anytime, like, one of the scientists is all like, hey, he's like,
oh, yeah.
He's all like this.
Yeah.
He, like, kills all his scientists. That's basically how MJ-12 was going on with the president. They're like, no.
Finish him.
The claim is stated that he perceived threats to secrecy that would lead MJ-12 or allied agencies to neutralize Kennedy. While they say that he was supposedly working alone, he could have been an actual agent all along.
There's too much evidence to the contrary to still believe that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone. There's too much evidence.
Well, he even said he didn't do it. You know what I mean?
Well, and we'll never know because he was assassinated.
Yeah. That's the crazy part about it, is that we'll never really know. Anyway, let me see here before I get off track here. So in short, there is no verified evidence that Kennedy was actually assassinated because he was trying to declassify MJ-12 or UFO materials. But the MJ-12 papers are themselves pretty strange, and the official records of JFK's interactions with the national security bureaucracy did not name UFO disclosure as a proximate cause for the assassination. That said, the JFK story continues to be told because of it fits into the powerful narrative and shape of revelation and betrayal. You know what I mean? So it's that borderline of like, yeah, it wouldn't put it past him. It could have very well be like, nah, he's talking too much. You know what I mean? So now going into like a more modern, fast forward to the 2010s, 2020s now, the U.S. government itself, unlike the immediate decades after Roswell, has been gradually more forthcoming about phenomena labeled UAP, unidentified aerial phenomena.
Speaking of, have you seen that one recently?
No.
The UAP that runs right through a Hellfire missile?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've been watching.
Yeah, that was recently released. That's crazy.
Yeah, they tried to knock it out and it just kept on going.
Yeah, it was like, hey, nah, dog.
Yeah, it looked like it self-healed itself or something. It was weird.
Yeah, it was crazy looking.
Congressional hearings, the Pentagon's release of UAP videos, and a new climate of public reporting have made UFOs mainstream policy conversation rather than a subject to late-night radio shows. This changed environment has increasingly revived some of the MJ-12 disclosures. Why? Well, because when governments show they have been tracking strange aerial phenomena, older claims of institutional concealment gets new resonance. So basically, like, you know, all of a sudden they're like, you know, they exist. We've been documenting them for years and shit. Boo boo boo. Then it makes you think, like, okay, what about?
Well, yeah, what the fuck are you hiding then?
Yeah,
if you're
like,
willing to give up that kind of information, what the fuck you?
You notice all of a sudden now the government's like, oh yeah, UAPs exist. This is actual footage. You know, what I mean, woo woo woo.
Thank you, Tom DeLonge.
And now it's like, that's what I'm saying. Now it's like, okay, well, if that's real, then what about this MJ-12 shit then?
Yeah,
That was like decades earlier.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, could they? I mean, could it really be the Men in Black that you see?
Well, I mean, also considering how old it's been, I think freedom of information. Like, I think at some point you should be able to get that should be released. You know,
not to mention all the actual footage of Men in Black being spotted.
I mean,
like, they got footage of.
That's just dudes in plain suits.
Yeah, but they always show up after weird shit like that happens. Anytime there's an encounter with alien, like any type of alien crash, they pop up and they're like, all right, we'll take care of it from here.
Chop, chop.
You know what I mean? Nothing to see here.
Makes sense.
Look into this blinking light.
No, you won't.
Exactly.
Over here. It's one of the saddest scenes in any movie.
Yeah. But anywho, yeah, that's pretty much all I got today.
Word.
Just talking about good old Majestic 12. I didn't know what it was at first until I started to research. I was like, what is it? Because I heard somebody talking about the Majestic 12. And I was like, what is this Majestic 12? It's alright. It's not the door, it's the light coming in from the door.
Yeah, it's making Sean look way too
big,
pale.
It makes a big glare go across the TV.
Yeah, Sean looks way too white.
It's okay.
He is Caucasian, but he ain't that goddamn white. And he's pretty white. His wife is so white, she's red.
She's Scottish.
She's
white.
ginger. She's a ginger. You know who else was Scottish?
She comes from the mountains of Caucasus.
Sean Connery was Scottish. He was a Scottish fellow, and he loved being Scottish, and he always wore kilts, and he never told anybody a lie, because he was Sean fucking Connery. It was a terrible accent, and I apologize for anybody I offended with that accent. There was one person, at least, that I offended. Oh, no, that was the indication that was the first offensive accent for this episode. I made it so far without doing it. I thought I could go the whole way. Turns out, I just suck. All right. Well, I guess that makes it my turn, Sean.
It does.
All right.
What'd you bring today there, Chinner?
So, I got to thinking, and then I got to thinking about thinking. And then I was like, man, I wonder how people think. So I did a little research. And it turns out there are 5 different ways that people think. So, I am going to go through those. It won't take too long, a little quickie. Here, just bend over the bed, be done with it, go on about your day. But we're going to slap it on the ass and send her on our way. All right? And if we're lucky, next time we won't have to pay. So, what we're going to do is talk about the brain. So, people, they have diverse cognitive approaches in problem solving, decision making, and fucking everything else, How people pick colors or how they react to good news and bad news, and sometimes drugs can affect these.
Yeah, especially like ones we talked about last episode.
Oh, yes. They can actually change which type of thinking that you have. I think I made that up, but honestly, seems plausible. So the first one, and throughout my research, this one typically came up as the first one. It is the analytical thinker, or anal idical. Okay. So, analytical thinking involves breaking down complex problems into smaller components using logic and reasoning to reach conclusions. That's how I do math. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I've got, I don't know. I don't feel like doing math right now, so I'm not going to do any. But that's kind of how I break down math problems. It's like doing long division.
Yeah.
And having to show your work. A lot of this type of thinking, you focus on facts and data, like what, and then you take a systematic and methodical approach, and then a lot of them have a bigger emphasis on accuracy and detail. That part is not me, because I don't give a fuck. Accuracy and detail, yeah. I'll get you in the ballpark, dog. You have to do the rest yourself.
Yeah, that's kind of like me. I'm more detailed.
I'm here for a good time, not a long time, baby. Let's do this. So this is a good example. Medical professionals, they're trained to use analytical thinking to interpret lab results and symptoms and patient history. All right, they've got A, B, and C. What does A, B, and C typically, A and B might be this and C might be this, or, they're all correlating,
Yeah.
And I have a little example here. For example, Dr. X reviews test results for a rare autoimmune disorder, compares them against established diagnostic criteria, and rules out other causes before reaching a diagnosis. Example. Number 2. An engineer troubleshooting a malfunctioning machine using a flowchart to systematically isolate the faulty component. First off, an engineer's not going to do that. A technician is, because engineers don't fucking turn wrenches, technicians do. Secondly, yeah, that's kind of what you have to do. See, when I'm breaking down, I use that type of thinking when I am working on a piece of equipment. Okay, this is not working. Why is this not working?
Yeah.
What powers this? Okay, let's start with the fuses. Okay, fuses are good. Let's see if there's any relays in that, et cetera, et cetera. You got to break it down piece by piece.
Yeah.
And
rule it out.
And rule each thing out. The number 2 way of thinking, and I like to think that I'm this way, but honestly, I probably am not as creative as I thought. It is creative thinking. That is correct. Creative thinking. Definition. Creative thinking is the ability to generate new ideas, envision possibilities, and think outside the box. Most guys are just thinking about the box. Sorry. Little pussy joke there for you. These type of people are imaginative and innovative. I would say that Steve Jobs was perhaps a creative thinker, and he creatively got all these people to join an iPhone cult. But they are usually open to new experiences, and they see the connection between things that aren't seemingly related. Like, why would this be doing this? Well, it could be this thing way the fuck over here, and I feel like them second 2 little pieces of nuggets there are like I use, like I'm open to new experiences. I will try just about anything twice. The first time you might not like it, might be shock factor. The second time, you know what you're going into, and you're like, you know what, that actually wasn't that bad. I'll try just about anything twice. Just about anything twice. Don't get any fucking ideas. So here's kind of an example. Pixar's storyboard process. So they brainstorm hundreds of scenarios and characters for one film. And then Toy Story itself came from the creative synergy of artists blending technology with imaginative storytelling. So like they kind of had these bunch of ideas, and then they built the storyboard, and then they kind of dwindled it down. You know what I'm saying? So there's a bunch of stuff that made the storyboard that probably didn't make the film, or made the second film, and so on and so forth, So that's kind of using your creative thinking, like, how will this flow? We have these kind of conversations all the time about stuff like how things flow and finding a good mixture. It's like a good album. It's got a nice flow to it. Like Master of Puppets is by Metallica is one of the best examples of a good flow to an album, because it's like slow into heavy into slow. It's
also got the instrumentals in there.
Yeah, the one. Yeah. All right, the third way of thinking, practical thinking. Practical thinking centers on applying experience and common sense to solve everyday problems efficiently. This is also something I use as a technician, and something I have to use on a regular basis. Look, I've been through this before. I'm not going to do it that way. I fucked it up last time. I'll do it this way. So on and so forth. Action-oriented, focused on solutions and results, and the ability to adapt to changing circumstances. Which adapt or die is like one of my mottos. Technology moves further. We got to move with it, or you're just going to be fucking left behind.
You're gonna be left in
and
the
that's
dust.
why we're here in front of all of you beautiful people in person, because we adapt. We are also practical thinkers, and if we want to do this instead of having to break our knuckles and our backs for a living, well, guess what? You got to get with the times, hot dog. Hot dog is a sandwich. One good example of this is like disaster response. They have to go in and think about, all right, this is what we're probably going to be looking at because of these situations. This is where we need to start with. First we got to get a hub set up, and then you're going to have to expect a lot of people to be wet because there's been a hurricane, there's been a lot of flooding. So, we need blankets, and we're going to need a place for people to be dry, and we're going to have to find high ground, that kind of thing. Number 4, the fourth way that people use them old noggins, reflective thinking. Reflective thinking involves thoughtful consideration of past experiences, learning from them, and integrating insights into future decisions. Now, this one isn't too different from the last one, except it's more introspective and contemplative. Whereas, like, with the practical thinking, you can just kind of move forward and shoot from the hip sometimes. With this, you kind of put a little bit more thought into it. You break it down a little bit more. You do a little bit more research. This is not me. For the most part. I honestly, personally feel like I use all of these. Like, at any given day.
Kind of like a gambit of them.
So, a good example of this is a teacher reviewing classroom outcomes. She reflects on the lesson's effectiveness and modifies them for the future. She is like, okay, they didn't enjoy this as much, so I'll take this out and put that in there. Or this question was too hard.
Yeah, she made
an easier one, or this was too easy.
May adjust it for the next class.
Yeah, that didn't work as well. The students didn't retain as much of the information as I wanted them to, so I'm going to change up my lesson plan, yada yada. Emotional thinking is the last one. Thinking with your heart instead of your head.
Well, that gets you in trouble sometimes, though.
It fucking will, because somehow, some way, your dick is located near your heart. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes they think together, and your brain is like, no, both of you, shut the fuck up. And they're both like, no, dog, no. And you're like, bro, this is gonna suck. Not for a minute, it won't. And then your brain just shuts down because you've been overpowered by your heart and your dick.
Yeah.
It just fucking be like that. Sorry.
The whole time your dick's like, it's gonna be awesome, I'm telling you.
Yeah, and your heart's like, oh. And then your brain's like, God damn it, not again. And then you're married. So, emotional thinking. The definition to emotional thinking: guided by feelings, empathy, and intuition. It influences fucking everything that you do. They're usually more sensitive to other people's emotions. They have good gut reaction and instincts. Which I have okay instincts, I guess. I don't know. So, yeah. Use of emotional intelligence to navigate relationships. That is one I definitely do not have. A good example of this would be like a friend offering support during a difficult time, knowing when to listen and when to shut the fuck up. And then when to offer advice. So, each style has its own strengths and pitfalls. The analytical, they more scientific and technical domains, but can become rigid without creative input. The creative thinkers, they drive innovation but lack practical feasibility, grounded by analytical or practical thought. So it's like you kind of have to have both. You can't just be out here coming out with wild fucking outlandish ideas with no possible understanding of how to make that or what it requires. Practical thinking suits real-time problem solving but can overload deeper insights available through reflection or analysis. Reflective thinking, it helps you learn and grow, especially about yourself. And, especially if you're in one field that just does one thing. And emotional thinking makes relationships better, but it can lead to impulsive decisions if unchecked by logic. So, be Spock. Use logic and emotion. You got to most real life scenarios do require you to use both or all five, there's a lot of them. I've said, I use them all on pretty much a regular basis. Knock the mic string. Sorry. But yeah, that's the 5 ways that people think. That's the list, dog.
Oh, very interesting.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting too. I
didn't know there was 5 ways of thinking.
Yeah, I thought it was just kind of like my brain working. But see, I'm also the kind of person, I can get very vivid images in my brain. And I didn't learn until a couple of years ago that, like, not everybody does think about an apple and understand apple, but they don't see an apple in their head. Whereas, like, if I think about an apple, I can see a fucking apple. Like, I see a beautiful fucking, you know,
it's like crisp, still got the
shiny apple,
got, like, dew on it.
Yeah, dude. Like, but some people just can't do that, and that's fucking weird.
They ain't making me hungry.
To me,
and shit.
Yeah, I'm hungry too. I'm gonna have to stop at Arby's and get my weekly gyro on the way home. I need a gyro. Yeah, dude. Their gyros aren't bad, but finding a good gyro spot fucking sucks. It's almost impossible.
Damn, we're almost at 50 minutes already.
Damn, huh? I did a little bit more bullshitting than I thought. We also had a little bit of DT in there. That's downtime, not dead time. Gotcha.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. Here before too long, we'll get through season 2. And then somewhere around the wrap of season 2, we'll see what everything looks like. In season 3, we'll probably start releasing some of the uncuts from season 1 and the B-roll stuff.
Yeah, we'll probably have some interviews this season.
Yeah, a lot of good things to look forward to. We've got some good information, some good people's on deck.
I got to get a hold of some people and send out some emails.
Yeah, we've
some feedback.
Some cool, scary stories.
Also, I forgot why you're here. Mom wanted me to find out when would be better. What she say, the 11th, I think? I'm trying to remember.
Today?
No. This will be in, I'm trying to think. It's when we want to go, not really stay overnight camping. We're thinking about maybe just going out there for a few hours.
Okay.
This is
you're talking about Sellers Farm?
I don't want to say, no, not Sellers Farm. I don't want to say too much on camera because this could be a future ghost investigation recap of what we already did. But it's going to be at night instead.
Okay.
So we're just trying to figure out a time because it won't be too cold out there. We were thinking about camping out, but we don't know if we can light a fire out there is the problem. So.
I have a heated jacket and everything. I'm not afraid of being cold.
We thought about going out there at night, it's for like 4 hours or something just to see if we catch anything at night.
Mm-hmm.
We already got permission and stuff. I was just trying to figure out a time. But yeah, we might have another video come up here shortly. We're just trying to figure out when to shoot it.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? And I thought about doing another recap out there at Sellers Farm. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, we'll get one. All right. As always, like, share, comment on our shit. I don't care what you're listening on. I don't care what you're watching it on. Comment. I don't care if you fucking hate me, if you hate him, if you want to suck my toes. I don't give a shit. Comment. We need
Write it out.
Boost them fucking numbers, brah.
Write it out.
Boost them. Yeah. Chinry sucks. Chinry sucks. Do it. I don't care. I don't care. You're not gonna hurt my feelings, bro. My mom died of AIDS. I've got the ultimate comeback. All right, just get the fuck out of here. Hey everybody, Chinry here with ads. If you or someone you know would like to run an ad with the Wicked Paranormal Team or Dead Time Stories podcast, please feel free to reach out at wickedparanormalteam@gmail.com. That's wickedparanormalteam@gmail.com.